right, I'm annoyed. I just finished recording my review, which is why I'm not wearing the same clothes like 2 days running or anything. I'm recording this directly afterwards as an upload for Sunday's video, basically. I was trying not to contaminate the match report video with my annoyance of just about what's going on. So I know I didn't do a very good job. I probably let it slip quite a lot of times what I was annoyed about, but I'm completely fed up. What David Moyes got done by Roy Hodgson then. Look, I guess there's nothing wrong with that in many respects, but we really could have done without that, and I really feel that the things have come home to roost for his lack of rotation. We looked stale, and we looked stale, we looked slow, we looked half asleep. We really did look half asleep in that game, and there's no surprise he hasn't mixed things up enough. I don't know what the injury is to Kurt Zouma. I guess that's one of the drawbacks of doing the video, Sunday's video, so early on a Saturday that I don't know. So you have to excuse me on that. But if I try and do this video Sunday morning, I'm not gonna, I'm trying to get it out now because I'm quite annoyed about it now. So I don't know whether or not Zouma's injury was avoidable or not. But if you watch this, you will absolutely know that I have been worried about Antonio's minutes, I've been worried about Bowen's minutes, I've been worried about Zouma's minutes. In particular, those guys. With Antonio and Zouma, you have people who have bad injury records. Bowen, not so much, but I just feel that Bowen's played so much, he's going to be fatigued, he's going to be exhausted. I want to win the Conference League more than anything. By that I don't mean I would sacrifice it for Premier League survival. It's a totally different question. And who's holding a gun to your head? It doesn't work like that. It's quite possible we survive in the Premier League and do or do not win in the Conference League. But that's it. I think it's been a crappy old season. I've got to be honest with you. I'm fed up with it as a season. In many respects, I cannot wait for it to be over. And it's not like I'm fed up with West Ham, because actually I almost feel that I almost want a fresh start. You know what I mean? Something to look forward to, a new transfer window, and all the rest of it, and a feeling that we'd have some new players coming in, and we'd start to maybe go in a different direction in terms of how we're playing and that sort of thing. But in terms of the season, the Premier League season, I've had enough. But the one thing I am looking forward to is the Conference League. But the longer this goes on, the longer this flogging of players goes on, and the depleting of the energy reserves of the players, the less likely I think it is that we'll do anything in that tournament, and that's what worries me. I think if we play like we did against Arsenal or Ghent, I think we've got every chance. But look at the start. If you look at the start of that Arsenal game, cast your mind back. Declan Rice wins the ball within 60 seconds. And then cast your mind back to the Ghent game. The same thing happened. We were pressing from the front. We were snapping at them. We were nicking the ball. Now, you don't have to do much. And I'm not suggesting go and torture yourself with a whole game against Crystal Palace. Go and watch the first 2 minutes at Crystal Palace. And then watch the difference. Watch those other 2 games. It's not there. The snap is not there. The bite is not there. The press is not there. They haven't got the energy for it. And I don't think that's an accident. I think they've been advised not to do it. I think they've been advised not to do it so as they conserve energy. And just by conserving energy, you're probably admitting that the players are a little bit run down. If that's the case, why there should have been other players on there. Now, you will know if that I've said, if you watched the channel regularly, you'll know that I thought we probably should have rested 2 or 3 against Liverpool and been able to go at this game a little bit fresher. Now, as it's turned out, both games there's only been 1 goal in it. Both losses, the loss against Palace and the loss against Liverpool, only been 1 goal in it. Fair enough. I may well be wrong on that. But I would have preferred just a rotation of it, and then just everybody high pressing all the time in all games. I don't really care who you've got to drop in, you've got to drop out, but I just think it would have been beneficial and it would have been helpful. So now I'm worried that we're going to get to this situation in a Conference League, and I just wish the squad had been rotated, slightly differently, basically. In terms of the game, I'm pleased. I'm pleased that we've got our free kick mojo, corners, set piece mojo back. I'm pleased about that. But it really felt, I don't know what you think about this, it really felt against Crystal Palace as if we were relying on that. That was it. So, okay, well, we're just going to try and win this game through set pieces. I mean, it was a miracle that we scored from 3 corners. That's really good. It is really impressive. But it's a hell of an ask. For us to win that game, we'd have had to score 5 corners. When does that happen? I mean, it doesn't happen. It just doesn't. And we seemed so limited. And I don't really know what the point was of this Maxwell Cornet thing on the 89th minute. What's the point, mate? You know what? I just don't get it. Now, don't get me wrong. I do not think that Maxwell Cornet is the saviour at West Ham. I really don't. I think it was a bad signing. It's really hard to look at it and think that it hasn't. He was out for 5 months. And then when he's got fit, David Moyes just doesn't want to use him in the team. I think if you try and separate out whose fault it is, forget who's to blame and just, has that been a good signing, 17 million? No, it's been crap, right? So I just don't understand what the point of bringing him on was the 89th minute. I would understand bringing him on at half-time. That I get. And David Moyes did try and make changes at half-time. I mean, he clearly wanted to change that whole left side against Palace, which is why he did Emerson and did Benrahma, but it didn't work. Let's be fair. Cresswell was still going to struggle with Elise. And Benrahma, okay, he did carry a little bit more of a threat further forwards, you know, than Fornals did, who was always going to struggle playing on the left wing. But I mean, Benrahma, you know, I don't particularly just want to pick him out, but, you know, since we're on the subject, so frustrating. So frustrating. But I guess at least he was in the game a little bit. You know, for Paqueta not to be in the game, I don't know. And this is what worries me. Rice was awful. Paqueta was awful. Antonio, he got the header. Granted, he did. Apart from that, didn't do much of the game at all. I thought he was going to get carded at one point. He was so frustrated with how Anderson was dominating him. So now we've got a situation where this little upturn has taken. When that little upturn has taken place, we've had Soufal's been playing well. Forget the Palace game, but Soufal's been playing well. Zuma's been playing well. Paqueta and Rice have been playing well, and so's Antonio. 5 players really on it. Oh, by the way, so's Bowen. That wasn't the case against Palace. Now, do I think they've all got crap? No, they don't. I mean, Zuma, who knows? Who knows if we'll see him again? I just don't know. Antonio looks knackered, needs a rest. Bowen could probably do with a rest. Paqueta, well, I guess he got one. He got hooked after 69 minutes, didn't he? Declan was struggling there. Well, what's he going to do now, Moyes? What's he going to do with Palace? With Man City and Man United coming up? And this is what worries me. He's still searching for that elusive extra couple of points that will probably make us safe, so as he can start resting ahead of the European game. And I look at that and I think, well, hold on a second. That is an opportunity missed. I really do. He's almost tried to go too strong on both games. I'm not saying it's throwing a game, but why not? Why not do that? Anyway, I guess it doesn't matter now. The game's gone. But now we're into a situation that I feared we might be in, which is entirely why after the 4-0 defeat win against Bournemouth, which had coincided with an upturn of form. And we played well against Arsenal, got the draw. Obviously did well against Ghent. And there was a lot of people, not loads and loads and loads, I've got to say, but enough, enough. There would be 10, 15 comments on videos or on social media that I would see that we'd be doing, and people would say, that's it, Moyes deserves a new contract now. And a lot of people would be crediting him with almost winning the Conference League. And that's why I was saying, well, hold on a second, let's just wait. As I'll reiterate, if we stay safe, right, I mean, we could go and we might beat Man City or something. We probably won't beat, bear with me. Beat Man City, beat Man United, and we get more than safe, and David Moyes wins the Conference League. I believe that it's a strong argument for him retaining the West Ham job. I really do. But my only point was, let's not award him that yet, because things can still, whilst things were sour, and then they got a bit sweeter, my point was they can turn sour again. And that worries me, that Crystal Palace one. That worries me. It does. That's now a hell of a turnaround between now and midweek. We've got City and we've got Man United. That's going to be really, really hard. Anyway, there you go. I'm annoyed about it. I'm annoyed about what David Moyes has. I'm annoyed with David Moyes. Truth be known, I saw he had little or no answer to what happened there and what Roy Hodgson did, and none of it should have been a surprise. the players that excelled for Crystal Palace were no surprise. None at all. And their qualities. It wasn't like Zaha, Eze, and in particular Elise started doing things that they don't normally do. You know, I mean, it was really quite obvious. Yet, even armed with that information, what was he able to do about it? Absolutely nothing. I don't know if having fitter players, you know, might have done something. I really don't know, because as I said in the previous video, when we play these teams that are very, very pacey like that, be they Newcastle or I don't know, Watford. The only reason I used the Watford example is I remember when we played Watford, I turned around to Gio in the review and said, I don't think any one of our players was in the top 5 fastest players on the pitch. I really didn't. And I felt that against Crystal Palace. I don't know who the fastest, first fastest, second fastest, third fastest, fourth fastest was in there, but I think they were probably all Palace players. And then I think you might have had a West Ham one in there. Maybe a Gerd. Or maybe Antonio. Something like that. But even Antonio's pace, that didn't really do him any good because he was sort of out-thought by Anderson, and Anderson's body positioning was so good. It's not like he could out-sprint him or get past him. They did a really good job. I mean, I've always said this about Bowen. Bowen's a good player, but he's 7.5, 8 out of 10 for speed. When he comes up against someone comparable in pace for him or quicker, he's going to have a tougher game. And Mitchell was quicker than him. It's really as simple as that, really. But I did think Bowen, sorry, I want to say I'm not criticising Bowen. Bowen did really well from the corners. And you know, he had to try. Mitchell was trying to get forward. Mitchell would go forward into that. Sometimes would be on left wing, and Zaha would vacate his position and sort of start popping up in different areas. And I think they had a hard job down that right side, both Soufal and Bowen there. So I'm not overly digging him out. I am just frustrated. I am worried anyway. And it's one game, but I've not just been saying it for one game. I think that's the point. This worries me. I really want to see David Moyes addressing these fitness issues. Otherwise, I'll tell you what will happen, and this is going to drive me mad. If this happens, and I hear these words, it's going to drive me mad. If after having spent 200 million and he has a bench full of first-team capable players, David Moyes gets to the end of the season, fails, and blames it on fixture congestion after the squad he has just been given 200 million, honestly, I think I'll explode.